Okay, we're over on page 57 here with the G5 finger scale. So we're getting near the end of the book here, but they got a couple new things for us before we wrap up. So just like we had a page a while ago that had the 3 C's on the staff, and then on our previous page in this book, page 56, they show you the 3 G's on the staff, which are also good to know. This is just kind of filling out some of those shapes a little bit so we can say, oh, we can kind of get like a 5-finger thing going on here on the base one or on the middle one or on the treble one. So I just kind of want to get you used to seeing some of this stuff. Then they're saying in this case, since we're in like G position or a G5 finger scale, that G is now the tonic and D is the dominant. So if G is 1, D is 5. That's our 5th note, which is the dominant. Again, don't worry too much about that. It's good to know, but we're not too worried. So what's going on here? Nothing too crazy. We got mezzo forte, so just middle of the road playing. We are starting on treble G. So we're in this position. And what I tell students a lot of times when they're first learning how to find this G position, they're probably pretty comfortable with C position. So I'm like, well, let's think about these notes. C, D, E, F, G. Oh, well, pinky's on G right now, so if I get thumb there instead and set up that 5-finger scale, it happens to be a G5 finger scale. So that's a quick way to set it up if we're a little unsure of where these notes are. So that's right hand position. Then left hand 5 is coming in on this middle G, which is going to be right here. So it's kind of like C position, but we're going to scooch it up to G. So we've already kind of done this sometimes where we're on F or we're going somewhere else. But in this case, just like C, whoop, we're just moving up to G position here. Any other surprises? Yes, there is a surprise. So this is easy to miss if you're not careful. At measure 5, they're going to drop 5 down to the bass G. So we were here, then we got to go an octave down and find this G down here and play there. Still a G position though, no shenanigans outside of that. So moving positions in C is pretty easy to see, but moving positions in G could be a little trickier to identify visually on the keyboard. So this might slow them down a little bit compared to this moving C stuff around. But hey, it is what it is. We got to do different positions eventually, right? So this is a good way to get into it. I'm seeing some legato into staccato, don't skip your rests. And then they're saying tonic up to dominant. Okay, tonic up to dominant. And they're kind of reinforcing some of that there. All right, let's try this out a little bit. We'll go nice and slow. Don't forget to move your left hand at measure 5 down to that G position. So C position, whoop, move to G. Here we go. Rest. Rest and move. 1, 2, 3, rest. All right, so just like some other previous pieces where we have to move our hand, during this rest is a great time to move your hand, so take advantage of that. Move. Right? So even though we have a rest, we could take advantage of that time to reposition our hands, which starts to get really important the more complicated these pieces get. So then we get chords in G. Hey, this should look familiar. We did a very similar, well, the exact same thing in C position, but now we just got to move it up into the G position again. So we are going back into this position here, and we're going to play our broken chords, then blocked chords, and get a little 5-7 action in there too. What's this sound like? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, so getting those 2 chords at the same time can be a little tricky there if you're not used to doing that. So it's a good practice for you, especially if you're a little rusty on some of the C warm-ups and the chords in C. Well, you're basically doing the same thing. You just happen to be in a different position, so you can kind of brush up on some of that stuff if maybe you're struggling the first time around. So I think that is it for this page. Let's see what's coming up next.